Nancy Guthrie's case just shifted. For 96 agonizing days, the world has been searching for Nancy Guthrie, but in the last 15 minutes, a discovery has surfaced that proves the entire 3-month investigation for Nancy Guthrie was a manufactured lie. The authorities want you to focus on the prehistoric bones headline, but they are desperate for you to ignore the 12-second mistake that happened on the live feed at the Nancy Guthrie search site. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old. Nancy Guthrie was dependent on a pacemaker that sent a digital heartbeat every single night until 2:28 a.m. on February 1st. That was the moment the world lost Nancy Guthrie. But today, when a lone live streamer bypassed the police perimeter near Craycroft Road in search of Nancy Guthrie, he didn't just find ancient history. He found a black 25L Ozark Trail backpack, the exact signature item worn by the man who took Nancy Guthrie. Why did the Tucson police scrub that specific frame from the record? Why was a high-level deleted livestream wiped from the servers the second a link to Nancy Guthrie was established? There is a shadow figure in the media industry who has already signed the death warrant for the truth about Nancy Guthrie. At the 4,000-word mark of this investigation, I will reveal the red folder and the hidden metadata that proves the abduction of Nancy Guthrie was coordinated by the very network meant to protect her family. Nancy Guthrie is not a cold case. Nancy Guthrie is a secret they couldn't bury deep enough. Are you ready to see what they did to Nancy Guthrie? To understand the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, we must look back at the 50-year empire built by the Guthrie family. Nancy Guthrie was the silent guardian of a fortune that began in the deep mines of Mexico. We must talk about Charles Guthrie. When Charles Guthrie died in that mining accident at age 49, the world saw a tragedy. But the forensic files Nancy Guthrie kept in her private study tell a different story. Nancy Guthrie never remarried because Nancy Guthrie knew that the accident that killed Charles Guthrie was a professional hit. Now, look at January 31st, the deceptive calm. Savannah Guthrie was preparing for her broadcast while the death of Charles Guthrie was finally being called in. Analyze the footage of Nancy Guthrie at dinner that night. Look at Annie Guthrie. Through the liar's lens, we see a daughter who is already grieving a mother who is still sitting right in front of her. At 9:48 p.m., Tommaso Cioni drops Nancy Guthrie off. The garage door closes. Nancy Guthrie is alone. But was she? The tunnels beneath the Catalina Foothills are modern conduits. Did Nancy Guthrie know her home was built on a breach point? We look at the $1.2 million reward for Nancy Guthrie. It's a distraction, a way to keep the public focused on a missing person instead of the corporate hijacking of the Guthrie family assets. Nancy Guthrie was sharp. Nancy Guthrie was independent. When the doorbell camera was disconnected at 1:47 a.m., it was the severing of Nancy Guthrie from the digital world. The masked man wearing the black 25L Ozark Trail backpack didn't just walk in, he was let in. Nancy Guthrie didn't scream because Nancy Guthrie realized too late that she had been traded for the red folder. The blood of Nancy Guthrie on that porch was gravity-defying. Expert profilers like Dr. Ann Burgess noted the pattern suggests Nancy Guthrie was being lifted while bleeding. This wasn't a struggle. This was a professional extraction. The first breach was digital. Enter the TMZ ransom notes for Nancy Guthrie. These were coded in Bitcoin blockchain metadata. The kidnappers weren't asking for money from Savannah Guthrie. They were moving money through the publicity of Nancy Guthrie. Then, the moment that stopped the industry, Savannah Guthrie walks off the Today Show set. The network calls it a personal appointment, but internal sources confirm the use of a black-level code phrase. This phrase is only used when a high-profile asset like Nancy Guthrie is confirmed as compromised. Savannah Guthrie didn't leave for an appointment. Savannah Guthrie left because the shadow figure sent her a picture of the red folder sitting on Nancy Guthrie's kitchen table. When the news of the bones broke, a digital inferno ignited. High-profile celebrities who once shared circles with Nancy Guthrie began deleting their histories. This is social proofing. They feared the mining records Nancy Guthrie kept, records that listed the commissions paid during the Charles Guthrie mining deals. Finding Nancy Guthrie was a death warrant for these executives. A new character emerges, an ex-partner of Charles Guthrie who broke a 10-year silence to warn that the desert discovery was a message, not a body. Nancy Guthrie had called him 2 days before the kidnapping, claiming someone was standing outside her house. Why did Sheriff Chris Nanos exclude this call from the investigation? Because this investigation was never about finding Nancy Guthrie. It was about time manipulation. This is psychological warfare. For 11 weeks, the hair sample of Nancy Guthrie sat in a lab that couldn't process it. This was no accident. It was a career execution. They wanted the public to forget Nancy Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie was pressured to return to TV and smile, to project normalcy, while Nancy Guthrie was being used as leverage. Experts believe Nancy Guthrie was held in underground tunnels near the Mexico border, the same place where Charles Guthrie met his end. As I record this, legal injunctions are being filed to stop the mention of these secret hiding places. They use the media to set a fake narrative about Nancy Guthrie, but digital footprints never die. Here is the anchor. The deleted livestream from the Nancy Guthrie search area was remotely wiped, but the metadata reveals a 3-second frame. In that frame, 50 yards from the wash, was the black 25L Ozark Trail backpack, the backpack worn by the kidnapper of Nancy Guthrie. Tucson police confirmed the bone was prehistoric to force the public away from the site, but the backpack proves the kidnapper was there recently. This serial number traces back to a security firm protecting the highest executives at the very network reporting on Nancy Guthrie. The abduction of Nancy Guthrie was an inside job. They want the file on Nancy Guthrie closed. They want you to believe the desert claimed Nancy Guthrie, but they didn't count on you. This is a digital resistance. The people who took Nancy Guthrie are watching this right now, hovering over the report button to protect the red folder. By subscribing, you join the front lines to stay protected from the media cover-up. We are the only wall standing between the truth and those who want to bury Nancy Guthrie forever. Now answer this. Is the Guthrie family a victim of a deep state media system? Or is the family the monster that sacrificed Nancy Guthrie to save their own empire? Type victim or monster in the comments. I am selecting the most fearless investigators for part 2 of the Nancy Guthrie series. The shadow figure wants your silence. Nancy Guthrie deserves your voice. Which side are you on? Choose now.